much better. So Spider-Man Far From Home, the trailer has dropped, guys. I'm super excited for this movie. Obviously a big Spider-Man fan, my favorite superhero. But I do have my skepticisms about this movie. Some of the details that's been coming out about it has not sounded all that great, but honestly this trailer has reassured me that I should not be afraid at all. What I'm going to be doing is breaking down the trailer for you, explaining things you might have missed, little details here and there, and since this movie does take place after Endgame, maybe some details of what's going on in that movie. So let's dive right into this. Starting off in the trailer, it looks like Spider-Man is helping Aunt May at a benefit or a fundraiser for a homeless shelter. I think this is actually pretty cool and in line with the PS4 Aunt May, where she is also working at a shelter. So this definitely looks like a favor he's doing for her, since at the end of Homecoming we find out that Aunt May knows Peter is Spider-Man, and it actually looks like she's okay with it, going as far as to being Spider-Man to please his aunt. And speaking of pleasing aunts, we have Happy Hogan come in here. Glad to see he's coming back to babysit Spider-Man again. He's holding a check here, what looks like for the fundraiser. If you look at the signature, it looks like it's signed by Pepper Potts. So if this is taking place after Avengers Endgame, it looks like Pepper Potts for sure makes it out enough to sign a check for this homeless shelter. And then we also get a confirmation here that there's going to be sort of a love thing going on with Happy Hogan and Aunt May, Marissa Tomei's character. This was rumored during production that they would have some sort of love triangle. This is in line with the comics, not specifically with the Happy Hogan character, but Aunt May has been known to date people who are connected to Peter's life. In the past, it's been J. Jonah Jameson, the Vulture at one point. So I guess this is just in line with that, and Peter don't look all too happy about that. And then we get shots of Peter packing, getting ready to go on this field trip for school. It looks here like he purposely doesn't want to wear the Spider-Man suit or take it on vacation with him as sort of a vacation from being a superhero. But thanks to the international version of this trailer, we see Aunt May was the one who put it in his suitcase, saying, "You always forget this." It's also nice to see that store clerk again that he's friends with. If you see some newspaper clippings up there, he's very happy that Spider-Man is on his side, always protecting his store. And then we see Spider-Man swinging here in New York, and the background of that used to be Avengers Tower. Now this could mean a couple of things here. We know by the end of Homecoming, they sold Avengers Tower to an unknown buyer. But also, if you saw the end of Avengers Infinity War, you know the world was chaos and people were falling out of airplanes, helicopters, and who's to know what damage is going to be done to the city in Avengers Endgame. So is this a monument that was destroyed in that movie? I'm actually going to believe that it's the new buyer renovating Avengers Tower, and I'm going to say here, it's most likely going to be Oscorp right there. And I think it's pretty clever that this trailer hinted at that here. If it's not them, then it could still be the Baxter Building, Fantastic Four. Next thing we see here is Peter's getting his passport. And one thing you definitely want to notice about this passport is that they are CGIing out the year. Now that's not typically what a US passport looks like. It tells you the date and year in which your passport was issued and expired. And they're purposely leaving that date out there. Now some have speculated that Far From Home could actually be a prequel from Infinity War. Now they've actually confirmed already that it does take place after Endgame, but some people thinking that they're lying to us and that this movie is in fact some sort of prequel. I'm not gonna go with that. I just think they don't want to keep messing up the timeline, because if you remember Homecoming and that little time jump that they put in there does not fit in with the MCU timeline at all. So I think Sony is just trying to stay away from dates in this movie and further confusing fans. And it looks like the first place they're stopping by is Venice. Now it was rumored that it's going to be multiple cities, one of those type of European vacations where you get to hit multiple countries, and it looks like they're having fun, and Peter is going to stay away from his superheroism to try to focus on his love relationship with the Michelle character, which I think is alright. I don't know if she's still Mary Jane or they're just going to go with MJ. They seem kind of cute together, so I'm interested to see how that relationship is further developed in this movie, and if she's going to find out he's Spider-Man by the end of it. And then of course here we get Nick Fury playing the Tony Stark role from the Homecoming movie. Now Tony Stark isn't really going to be in this movie. That's either because he dies in Endgame or he's just busy doing something else by the end of it. But I mean, to be honest, throughout this whole trailer, Peter doesn't really look sad or terrified that just a year ago or a couple months ago he was dusted away. He seems pretty good with the fact he once died. But with time travel involved, maybe the events of Infinity War never happened, and it could explain why he's so happy. Anyways though, Nick Fury is basically here just to remind us this Spider-Man is still part of the MCU, and he's going to be helping him along with his superhero journey and making sure he's fighting for the good guys. He's also obviously going to be the one to give Spider-Man this awesome new suit right here. I think this is actually my favorite on-screen suit. I just really dig the look of this. That doesn't look like it's going to be the only costume he's going to wear though. He does get an alternate Shield Spider-Man version outfit, and the reason I think Nick Fury is going to give him this outfit is because it's going to seem way too obvious to all his classmates and people who joined him on this field trip that weird, wherever we go, Spider-Man shows up. One of us is Spider-Man. So Nick Fury is probably going to give him an alternate costume so it's not so obvious that Spider-Man is always where these kids are at, because It's not that hard to narrow down who it might be. But the real answer for that is multiple costumes, because they need to make different toys, because toys make a lot of money. And then here are the ultimate bad guys of this movie, the Elementals. Now, if you don't know who the Elementals are, they're a cross between Hydro Man, Molten Man. There are these characters who have a one specific earthbound power. So this guy is earth, so this guy's fire, this guy's water. And they're going to be the bad guys that Spider-Man is facing in this movie, along with Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. And this right here is what was really hesitating to me about this movie, because it's been confirmed through little details about this movie that Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio is going to be a good guy. I don't really like that, because Mysterio is obviously a villain for Spider-Man and I want to see them fight. Now, a lot of you already will say, well, of course he's going to go bad by the end. Yeah, I know, that's what sucks. So the whole movie, I'll know he's going to eventually turn bad, so I'm not going to believe anything he does, which kind of confirms to me what is happening in this movie. Hydro Man, Molten Man, and whoever that Earth guy is, they're not the villains of the movie. What I'm thinking is going on right here is Jake Gyllenhaal is pretending to be a superhero. Is trying to build this cred, trying to become a false Avenger. Much like in the first Incredibles, where that villain was creating things and then trying to defeat them for the public's sake to look like a superhero. I think it's the same way. I think Hydro Man, Molten Man, and this Earth thing are all part of Mysterio's illusions that he's creating, because he is a master of special effects and things of that nature, to seem like something's going on when it's really not. And it's pretty obvious with the way he's talking, so confident that he can take down this villain just flying in and fighting that. Nah, man. He created these guys. They're all part of his illusion. It's going to be explained in some weird, quacky way by the end of the movie. And we're going to find out that Mysterio was just trying to pretend to be a good guy, but by putting all these innocent lives in danger, he's still the bad guy. Spider-Man will probably find this out, want to expose him. Then Mysterio and Spider-Man are gonna fight. Also, fun fact, did you know Jake Gyllenhaal was supposed to be Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2? Tobey Maguire was over there saying he had a back injury when really he just wanted more money to be Spider-Man. And Sony was like, all right, Tobey, you're gone. Jake Gyllenhaal, you're our new Spider-Man. That would have been awesome, but Tobey Maguire came back, and now we got Jake Gyllenhaal in this Spider-Man movie, so it all sort of works out. Let me know your thoughts of this trailer down below. What did you think of it? Do you think it's a good move? What do you think about my theory about Mysterio creating these villains to look like a false hero? Anything and everything, leave it down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.